Hey, what's up, guys? Adler here recording another training for you. Today, we're going to talk about an important topic, something super crucial for any business owner, but we're focusing mainly on coaches, online coaches, and consultants. But if you are someone who has an online business and are looking to scale, you're looking to step away from the tedious tasks, the repetitive tasks, the tasks that you can leverage someone else to have them do for you so they can actually scale your business. If that is you, if you find yourself in that position, if you are a coach, a consultant, an agency owner looking to make that first hire, step away from the daily routines of the repetitive task. If you're that person, this is the video for you. All right, you're going to learn something here today. So today we're going to talk about how to hire an appointment setter or your first team member, right? If you've never hired anyone before, you're probably on the fence of, where do I get this person? How do I train them? How do I go about managing them? Or you don't even know what exactly to even do of any of the processes. Well, this is what we're going to go over, okay? So first off, you won't be hiring an appointment setter to save your business, right? You can't expect to hire someone because your business is failing. And you can't expect to hire an appointment setter because you want them to rake in sales out of thin air, right? There has to be the ideal circumstances, the ideal systems, the ideal ecosystem for them to come in and help you out. And you can't hire someone to push your brand out to new territory, right? I mean, you can hire an agency, but we're talking about your first team member. You can't hire someone to actually just do all of this just out of thin air, right? That's not, you can't expect to put your business into someone's hands and say, hey, here it is, save it for me, right? So, and again, guys, this is an intention. That's why I have this here, right? These are intentions that you have. If you have these intentions, if these are the intentions behind you wanting to hire someone, that is the wrong intention, right? So you hire a setter when you set the right expectations to work as a team member and accomplish, accomplish the mission, the goal. When you've cultivated a healthy amount of inbound leads wanting to learn more, right? When you've already, done some of the fundamentals for your business where you're actually getting inbound leads and there's so much for you to handle and you can't get to everybody, right? That'll be a perfect situation for you to bring someone and teach them how to do it and teach them how to actually convert these leads into booked calls. And the next one, you hire a setter when you've seen the importance of focusing on your zone of genius and need to be doubling down on it, right? If you find this joy in making content, pushing your brand out there, if you are a creative type, right? You are not a business type or a repetitive task type. If that is you, then you should definitely leverage a team member. You should be hiring someone who can do this task for you because that is not obviously your zone of genius, right? So focus on your zone of genius, leverage someone else, and scale with them, right? So again, these are intentions. So if these are your intentions, go ahead and hire someone. I recommend you, definitely go on some, social media groups or some, job posting sites, stuff like that, and hire somebody. If these are your intentions up here at the top, to save your business, to rake in sales out of thin air, then you should not be hiring somebody. And if you do, you will probably be greatly disappointed. And the moment you hire anyone, there must be expectations. There has to be expectations all the time. Without expectations, how do they know, what to do, how to do it, when to do it, why to do it? There has to be things set in place. You have to be able to explain your expectations to them and then receive feedback and then perfect that as you go. So some market misconceptions for hiring this position are that you should hire an appointment setter when you pass the 50K mark, right? That's something that floats around. And you can actually hire someone after having 3 to 5 successful clients, and they will help you get to the 50K mark faster. So there doesn't have to be necessarily a revenue mark. If you have just, 3 to 5 clients, a couple clients, you already have a proven method to get a client, to provide the results, to create a happy, satisfied client, and to do it all over again. You have a system in place. You don't need to be looking for the next new thing. All you have to do is hire someone to actually help you do the repetitive task, to do that all over again, but at a bigger scale, more volume. And then a setter is not going to save your business, right? That's something that goes around a lot. And if your business is failing, a setter will probably not help you save it, but a setter will help you scale the business, right? So yeah, definitely I do agree with a setter is not going to help you scale the business, and that goes back up to the top with intention, right? You cannot set the intention and have the expectation that a setter is going to save your business, a failing business, right? They will definitely help you scale your business with the right intentions and the right expectations. And a setter should already know what to do and needs to kill it, right? That's an expectation people have or a misconception. So yeah, if they are being recommended by someone as a top performing person for the same industry, or someone who just has the fundamentals in place and knows exactly what to do, then yeah, right? That's definitely something to that's definitely someone to bring in, and that's definitely going to be a result for you. But if the person is not being recommended, right, it's not being given to you or anything like that, then you cannot have that expectation. You have to expect to actually train them up and manage them and provide feedback and build them up from the ground up. You have to. Or if you're getting someone with at least a bare minimum of skills or some knowledge, you're still going to have to work with them. You're not going to be able to find a duplicate of you that has your expectations already in place and that has exactly what to do without you telling them anything, or without you helping them, providing them, managing them, training them. All right. So how should you hire, right? So this is all nice and this paints a nice picture, but how should you actually hire? How can you get that first team member? How can you get that first appointment setter? Well, that's what I'm going to teach you how to do. So step one, right? From the hiring post, from the very beginning, there has to be expectations, right? With the right expectations from the beginning, inside the appointment setting Facebook groups or job groups, or you can look within your own network. I recommend you first look for someone within your own network, right? Because it's a lot better to have someone who is already aligned with what you are doing, maybe a past client, someone who believes, someone who really has trust that you are doing good for your clients, because it's going to be a lot easier to portray that conviction in the conversations, right, as an appointment setter. Now, you can get someone with skill already. It's not a big deal. You just have to, I would suggest you having to manage them a little bit more, especially teaching them a little bit more about what you do and how you can actually help your clients. Now, some people might argue and say that, well, that's not necessarily needed, because as long as they can perform as an appointment setter, which is book calls, and nothing else is needed. Yeah, but if your goal is to build relationships with people, you want someone who can, has the conviction that you have, at least a certain level of expertise, not 100%, but at least understands what you are doing and can relate that in the conversation to actually build up a relationship without you being present, without you actually building up the conversation, right? It's essentially an extension of you. So how do you do a hiring post, right? You obviously want to have requirements. You want to have, the skills you're looking for, the availability, the location, the personality, right? So the skills, someone who has communication skills and loves talking to people, right? Or if guys, this is your expectations, right? These are just examples, but you are going to know your expectations and what you want from a person that you are looking to hire, right? So as an example, someone who has communication skills and loves talking to people, right, as a skill set. You can actually include skill sets, someone who already has appointment setting skills, right? Someone who, has sales skills. You can actually put here, and you should label everything that you want and put everything that you want. Availability, someone who can work all day, right? Someone who has the availability, who isn't going to treat it as a side hustle, someone who can go all in, someone who you can dial on the phone and, they can answer right away, or at least get back to you in 10 minutes. Someone that is your expectation, and you know what your expectation is. So definitely include that. Location, someone with the same time zone. For me personally, I prefer people with my same time zones. I don't like people who are 12 hours ahead or anything like that. They have to be awake when I'm awake, right? And these days with remote workers, you can get someone with opposite time zones. I would prefer and recommend for you to get someone with your time zones, because if you're getting a remote person, you have to be pretty much having daily huddles and really just, helping them throughout the day. So definitely recommend someone with the same time zone. Personality wise, you can even include that, guys. That isn't necessarily important, but someone who likes a challenge, someone who isn't afraid, to actually not necessarily learn something new, but someone who isn't afraid, or who isn't afraid to receive critical feedback. Someone who won't, who will be open to learning something new, leaving their thoughts behind, leaving their, the way they think, the way they perceive something behind, and actually learning and absorbing this new information that you're giving them. Someone who has a learner mentality, a growth mentality, right? That's something you want to include as well. Some people might disagree, but no, if you're looking for a team member, for someone to scale with you long term, to hold on to your company and, have the same values and mission as you, as your company, definitely want to include personality. I would definitely do that. Expectations, how do you want this person to help you, right? What do you want them to do? Looking for someone with experience, who I don't have to train. That's one example. Looking for someone who's willing to grow within a company and learn a new skill, right? Looking for someone who can take some responsibility off my plate and help scale the business. Guys, it's just about being honest here. What exactly do you want? Because if you're not honest, if you're not saying what exactly you want, you're going to get the wrong person, and you're going to be like, oh, this person doesn't work. This person's broken. No, right? So and you can also create a trial period before the actual hire. So that could be an expectation, right, that they might have. Say, okay, well, we're going to do it for 1 month and then see how it goes. And if we, have synergy, if we, we're able to collaborate and actually scale in a neutral environment and a growth environment, then definitely we'll do it, right? That's an expectation, and you should definitely put that. And how will they be rewarded for their efforts, right? What is the payment, right? So salary, commission, hourly, etc., dependent on your expectations as well. As a setterpreneur, hiring a setterpreneur, someone who is going to come in here being an appointment setter with an entrepreneur mentality, I would definitely recommend 10 to 15% off cash collected for any sale with a bonus of minimum qualified calls per month. Now, you can do base salary, qualified calls per month bonuses. It's pretty much the same thing. It's just at the end, right? It could be, you can see it as like a mindset thing. So instead of giving $500 for just being here, right? Salary, no, we have some requirements, right? You hit these 30, 40 calls per month, boom, bonus. It's pretty much the same thing. It's a salary that you have to work for, right? I mean, it's a base rate that you have to work for. And that sets the expectation for, growth. You can actually, provide feedback, help someone actually meet those expectations, and now you have a thriving business, right? You have a good, team member, right? So I definitely recommend that, but that's totally up to you, depending on what your expectations are, depending on what you are willing to give. If you want someone to be a team member, a long-term team member, you obviously have to help them as well, right? Financially, and also be there for them. And then step 2, boot camp training. This is the nitty gritty. So you always have to get SOPs in order, right? The tasks that they need to do, how to start and how to end. You have to have, these guidelines for someone to come in and always have, so that nothing gets done without order, right? There has to be some guidelines. Proper mindset expectations. Do you care about the process or the result? Portray, explain that to them. Do you care about how things are done, or do you care about the end goal? As long as it's done, I don't care what it takes. It needs to be done by a certain time, right? That's an expectation, right? So again, it's always intentions and expectations. Do you care about speed? Do you care about how fast it's done, right? How fast certain things are done? Include those things, right? Portray, train. Give them the tools needed to perform. You have to give people tools, manuals, video footage, training recordings. If you have trainings you have access to, if you're recording previous things, or you can record something so you don't have to be repeating yourself. Guys, things of this nature are important. And you have to keep these in mind when you're having someone new. These are needed, and it's always good to record everything that you do with that person, because I would say about the majority of the people are not going to find their ideal team member on the first try. If you do, great, awesome, right? But it's probably going to take 2, 3, or 4, maybe even 5, right, to find this person. You might even have to go through a few. So what do you want to do? Record everything, have everything documented. So when you get to the 4th one, the time frame of actually having someone from a beginner to a fully onboarded team member is, a couple days, a couple weeks, and not months, right? And then managing and developing. Guys, this is an ongoing process. When you're hiring someone, you have to understand that, right? You don't hire someone, you don't hire a setter and just, okay, begin, right? There is a managing and developing process. So set up the proper metrics and KPIs, right? What is the mission? The end of day reports, set up daily goals, good day example, bad day example. We have to meet these criteria. We have to send out this many calendar links on a certain day, and then you examine that. Okay, how many were sent out on Monday? How many were sent out on Friday? Okay, why is that? What can we do better? What can we do different? Set up these strategies in place. You have to have expectations and intentions, right? So you have to have these KPIs, especially KPIs, key performance indicators, right? You have to be able to monitor the performance. Performance is crucial, right? You want to monitor that. I mean, on a really tight frame. You want to be able to increase performance and really tweak these people to your expectations, and so you can be able to scale and be able to actually bring someone in and compare. If you bring someone else in, you can compare KPIs, challenge, and increase. That's how you increase limits. That's how you scale companies, right? And the next, daily huddles and weekly trainings, right? So I would suggest you have daily trainings to actually keep as a reminder, the coaching company's mission statement or goal for the clients. You always want to keep this fresh in your team members' head, right? And then weekly trainings, you always want to be training. If you don't train, if you're not perfecting if you're not perfecting talent, then it's just going to die down, and it's going to be, just someone who can't perform. You always want to be getting better and better and better, and practicing and perfecting and strategizing. You always want to be doing better, right? So daily huddles and weekly trainings, check-up moments, how are you doing? What can we do better? What are you having, a hard time on that we can, actually find a solution, or maybe even like, reach out to somebody who knows a little bit more and actually come in and train you. Because if you're not working on sharpening the sword, it's just going to get dull and it's not going to work, right? And team motivation moments. I love this one because mindset and the growth mentality and the ability to just, be excited has a lot to do with a company, right? If you have people who are just, dragging their ass on the floor and just, doing the bare minimum, it's not going to be good for the company. That person, you should not have them. And it's always, no, it's not necessarily that person's fault. It can also be the business owner. As a leader, you're not portraying the company's mission statement, or the levels that you want to be actually performing at, so you have to portray that. And then performance and tweaking, I actually left something out right there, but yeah, just performance tweaking, always getting better, sharpening the sword. Sharpening skills, the same thing, right? Reviewing the work, giving feedback, helping them raise the standards. And this is an ongoing process, guys. Don't think that you're going to hire someone and then boom, you're just going to do this in a week and then done, right? Done deal. There are agencies out there who actually offer you they offer you like a lead generation system or whatever, and then they give you, well, they bring in their appointment setters. But I would highly recommend not do that, because it is good if you want to do it for a couple months and so, but essentially you want to retain a team member, right? You don't see the owner of Walmart still working there, working everything. He's not at the cashier or anything. It's a family-owned business, right? The guy learned to leverage people, to train people, to actually bring people in and do the work so he can be enjoying his family. You don't see Elon Musk, building the damn rockets or doing anything of that nature, right? You learn to build a team, to have expectations, to have deadlines, to train, to tweak. You have to be building a team if you want to scale your company. You have to. And this process takes time. Right? It takes time, patience, and effort. So do not expect to hire your duplicate right off the bat. You can't expect to go in there and, just find a twin, someone who knows what you want to do, and, have them just do everything exactly the way you want to do it. And do not expect for someone to know exactly what you want them to do. Do not expect to get it right on the first shot either, right? That's same thing what I mentioned above. Guys, you have to find this person with the right expectations right off the bat, given the right expectations with the right intentions. And it's an ongoing process, right? To train, to manage, and to develop this person. All right, guys? So this is what it actually takes. This is what it takes. But I recommend this for everybody, because if your intention is to build a business, right? If your intention is to step away from the repetitive tasks, be a business owner, you have to do this. You have to be looking for people who you can put in your company's mission statement, and they can believe in something, they can believe in that and actually help you scale, right? But this takes time. So guys, this is pretty much a rundown of really what it takes, to get your team in place, your first team member. I would recommend to anybody who's looking for a long-term business model to do this ASAP. The earlier the better. So you can do this all yourself, or you can have us do it for you. Nonetheless, guys, if you want a copy of this, just go ahead and comment copy down below, and I'll go ahead and send it over. All right, talk to you soon.